When you said monitoring or searching based upon keywords with marketing tools, for example, would you consider that to be more social listening, listening into social media accounts, or would that be specific web pages or forums or something like that?
More so a focus on, you could do it either way, but more so a focus on traditional media sources and news sources because it's been vetted. There's a little more credibility. That can also be reactionary to some extent because if it's being reported on, the issue has been acknowledged and it's already being dug into. Whereas maybe some social listening can be a better cues for dialing into individuals as opposed like you mentioned earlier where it's not so much the entity but it could be an individual within an entity that's of more so of concern and just seeing where those connective nodes take you to identifying a larger network.
So would that also have to do with, for example, when we had the pandemic, where people all of a sudden were very skeptical about the products that are made by these biotechnology companies? So is the threat only coming from, let's say, those CCP orientated um, government bodies, or is it also people that simply distrust what biotech in general does, and with that they want to maybe expose certain things that they think are important for their agenda, which could lead to making other people again from foreign countries more wise than they already are? That's something that you see or think we should also pay attention to?
Yeah, I think so. The interesting thing about this is I think there is a direct tie between this and in a lot of ways. And it's from that due diligence of running down like who are these false information actors and kind of building out a network there to say, wow, there's a lot more connectivity here than we thought, whether it's in terms of the dialogue, whether it's in terms of uh, who associates with who, really kind of following these networks and following the money. It's you could trace a lot of these back to nation state initiatives or more. I think they're more intentional initiatives from specific networks. So it's interesting, and I think it's something that it garnered a lot of attention during COVID. There was a lot of people who had input, and rightfully so. And that's something that we foster in the free world. People, freedom of speech.
Yeah.
But it's manipulated in a lot of ways by adversarial states who exploit that ability, and they know what those triggers are, so they lean into it because it's gaining traction. They know how to manipulate an algorithm, and that's something that I think deserves more education and information for our younger populations, our older populations, really anybody using social media to start to step back and say, what am I sharing? Where did this come from? Like it's more than just a headline or a catchy post. Like there's something deeper here that's driving people to have these opinions.